Good morning, everybody. Sort of a late morning for me, and got up a little bit late. Ran out of gas for coffee and my oatmeal, so just a little sluggish so far for the day. But anyways, they got things going on over here. It's busy. So let's take a look around. You'll see what they're doing. Well, they actually tempered down and put more gravel over the top of this. I've been using the old school way of tampering the gravel down. And there's working on the header beams. And this is amazing. They already have 2 rows of hollow blocks up over the top of the headers. Everybody's standing around trying to figure out. Okay, over here in the window, telling these guys what needs to be done, but these guys need to change their scaffolding around. They're walking on one little piece of scaffolding bar. Yeah, get it. Come on, sing some more. Don't be camera shy. So, as I was just saying, these guys are now moving over. They grabbed them from another place where they weren't working at instantly right now today. Well, they will be later on. If you can see, they reuse and reuse and reuse and reuse the plywood that they use for forming. I bet some of those pieces have been used 4 or 5 times at least already, and they'll be using it a whole lot more, I would suspect, because they just pull it off once something dries up and then cut it up to whatever length they need again, and then put it up there. I mean, it's a little pieced. It's pretty pieced out, but they got it working. Look at that, and there's a stack of them that they're gonna cut and make them skinny and put them up there, right over there. There's Maricel's jug right there. She actually brought it down to cover the light posts, because they do the little lighting around here, but you got to put a little plastic bottle over it to keep it from shorting out, and you get shocked when you touch it. But it looks like they repurposed the bottle instead of putting it on the light poles. You know, these guys getting things done. If the one extension cord ain't long enough, or they're using it for something else. This is the end of their homemade one. And then they got another one plugged in, another extension cord plugged into there, and that goes up to the drill, which is even interesting to actually see them using a drill, but it has like maybe a 1-inch drill bit on it. I would suspect it's broken off many times, and it has yeah, look at that tip. I don't know if you can see it, but it's been broken a few times, but they're using it. Surprise. So I was just looking, just realized how tall our ceiling is. So that should be, I think, the top. I know that's 10. Let's see if I can get away from the sun. That is 10 feet, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly. It's supposed to be, once you put the ceiling on and all the C-joists and everything, it should drop it down to 9 foot. But it's 13 hollow blocks high. But I think that's the top of our main floor. Then they'll put the cross beams in and everything and go from there. But this is sort of slow going right now, putting all these headers on, and then they're putting the lintels in here. But the hollow block process goes really quick once they got the headers all cured up. So I am actually on the back side of our little bump out for our stairways. Just noticed this. I don't know why I hadn't seen this before, but for 2 hollow blocks areas, and they left a big old hollow gap. I'm sure that it'll be all fixed at some point, because they were using 4-inch hollow blocks to help fix in the gaps. If you can see what they did here, so I would suspect they'll be putting another 4-inch hollow block in these big gaps down here on the bottom. I'm not sure exactly what they're gonna do. Guess I'll have to find out and talk to the foreman, since he seems to know what's going on quite a bit around here. But yeah, I didn't really look at this really hard. I was looking on an inside. The inside looks good, but the outside looks like yeah. I thought these were cute little hollow blocks. They cut them in half yesterday. I seen them cutting them in half, so it'd line up with everything else, so all the hollow blocks will be nice and even. So this one little stretch to this header over here, they have to use half hollow blocks. He's over here installing these half hollow blocks on this right here from our headers and the hollow blocks. So our bottom of our second floor, where our tie bars are gonna go across, we are on the weight right now. I was told by the foreman that we should be getting 9-meter long or 12-meter long 16 mm rebars, so they don't have to tie anything or do any splicing. They'll be just nice, beautiful long runs on top, so they won't hear me complaining about their splices. So we are waiting for that. We got lots of 6-meter long ones, but they're just a little on the short side. They gotta splice them, and they'll be spliced in really weird places, so I think it's actually better for them to use the longer rebar than the short one, because they'll be doing some wasting of the short rebars if they have to splice them. So I was just joking with the foreman about our driveway over here. You see, he's over here trying to form up everything so he can pour the driveway. At least probably like 90%. I think that he's gonna leave this little hump over here open, our little drive down the sidewalk area open, but this rest is they could pour. They sort of need, I think they're gonna get these columns start working before they can really work on the second floor tie beams, because all that tie beams have to tie into these. So I would suspect here shortly they're gonna be getting busy with these columns. But anyways, back to what I got my sidetrack going. They need some plywood for forming, and man, I tell you what, this little shack right here that isn't being used for anything looks really good to me. I was telling the foreman, hey, let's just steal some off of here, and when Christian starts living in it, we can put some back on it. I mean, it's a great idea since we're a little short here and there around here, but I think we'll have to just leave our sign up. So this is what's left of a scaffolding right now. Like, they scavenged all the plywood off of it so they could use it for their forming. They still have one more scaffolding over here that they can use. But there's little pieces here, there, everywhere, and they're actually using these little tiny pieces and connecting them all together for their pouring. So here's some more items that they scavenged plywood off of. It looks like they've taken almost all the plywood off of all of these. These were for forming the base of the columns. The only thing that they haven't touched for scavenging plywood, Christian's building, and these columns. These guys pouring some more of these headers. Oh, you guys got a hole. It's just falling on the sabao. Look at all the sabao. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, it's all leaking. Alrighty, it is after lunchtime, and these guys are doing all the headers. And this actually mix looks like it's for hollow blocks. So they're doing a little mixtures of both. They're pouring some headers, which they're using the heavier mix with the gravel in it and a little bit of sand. Now, this is just all sand and the cement mix. Well, the guys have been busy trying to get this all formed out because they got it all notched out. This is one they can chip it all out, and they are gonna do 6 inches of cement over the top of the our septic tank. So the foreman over here is measuring everything out from the lines, the 6 inches down. So it's gonna be really heavy duty. The top is. So these guys are putting the last 2 layers of the hollow block up here. And these guys over here are putting the last 2 layers of the hollow block. Got a little bad news from the foreman. I mean, not from the foreman, from our contractor. He's stating that we can only get 6-meter long rebar for our runs up here. It sucks because a lot of these runs are going to require splicing. 9-meter, there's a lot of 9-meter runs, which would be perfect if we could get some 9-meter rebar, but it's not going to happen because the supplier doesn't have them due to length restrictions on their trucks. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but I feel bad for the foreman because I'm gonna be beating him up pretty good on the splicing on all these 6-meter runs of this rebar. Oh my goodness, our engineer is here. It is amazing that he's actually here. Alright, almost all the tops are done. Definitely for sure it will be done tonight. Actually, it'll be done probably like 15-20 minutes maybe. They have one more row left to do. He has one row left to do. He's on the very last row. That row is done. That row's done, everything. So we just have just a tiny little bit done left, and then everything is done. And then we gotta deal with this stuff down here. See if I can peekaboo through this hole. So this is gonna be finished up tomorrow and poured all of this area. So we'll see what else happens from there. You're gonna do your slope from here. That's a gradual slope. I mean, we already got a gradual slope. So it's just gonna go to this one. We ain't gonna whack this part off. Yeah. We're gonna just leave it as that. Okay, and just leave this little hump right here, right?
Yeah, we'll leave that.
Just the actual street, because it has all the PS and all the measurement stuff on there. Oh, what's the size of the manhole?
45.
How are you gonna do it? Are you gonna like do some weird thing in there? So how it's gonna work? The manhole. Sure is all gonna be. It's gonna give a little bit, but it's gonna hold it here. On here, you want your splice here because there's no pressure.
If you have the splice at the middle, in a bending moment, you have pressure in the middle, so it can crack the top. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, even if your pressure, this is the most important one when in the middle.
This one also holds the pressure of the middle.
Yeah, but it's a lot less. It's gonna bend.
No, it's
yeah, it's gonna move.
This one is how do you call that? Stretching. Will stretch. And this one will.
You want it to go down a little bit, and then yeah, and then you can make it weak here, but it has to be strong here because your pressure is gonna be on this.
We will put another here like that.
Oh, yes. Busting out the side, the little tiny sidewalk that we have. That's for our driveway. And he says they're getting it all ready. Tomorrow they are gonna pour our driveway. We got all the information we need. I think we're gonna get it all done tomorrow. We'll see. They're moving pretty quick. And these guys right here are scavenging more plywood. They are on the last of the scavenging of plywood, and you see how they reuse the nails. They bend them right back out and put them right back into a different place. So this is what they ended up making after all those scraps. This is the manhole cover. They put it at an angle so it doesn't slide down. There's nothing gonna hold it. It's just gonna be all by pressure, centrifugal force. It's amazing things. So today got a lot completed. And the guys actually, it's the end of the day. The guys are cleaning up right now, but all of the headers, everything is done. Woo! So we can start working on the second floor tie beams. Yay! Keep up the hard work. Clean, clean. The gin is just right around the corner. Alright, and there that goes. So tomorrow, probably when I show up, this will be all cleaned up, and they're gonna have all the rebar laid out on all this right here, and it'll be ready to pour. Maybe by the time I get here, when I wake up and come here, depending on what time I get here in the morning, it might be poured. Who knows? We'll see how this goes tonight, or actually tomorrow morning, how fast they get this all put together. So they got some good directions that Christian actually showed up today. So now we'll have some good direction on where to go with certain things. Alright, and one last little bit at the end of the day. They have leftover cement, so they're gonna cement in the air vent for the septic tank. So if I ever have to dig up our stairs or anything, whoo, it is going to be a fun time, I would suspect. There is lots of cement everywhere to lock everything in. Alright, everybody, that's the end of the day. Hope you liked your video. We got our mystery guest right here, our contractor.
Wow.
But
Here.
anyways, hit the like button if you enjoyed our video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the little bell button down here in the corner to over there.
Yes.
To get notified when we've put up a video for you again. All right, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe.